Fishing Obsessed podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Daren Wendell.
Hey, you fish freaks. Welcome to episode number 107 of the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast, brought to you by myself and Seth Taylor, and of course, your ultimate source for all things kayak fishing, folks. If you want to discover freaking awesome under-the-radar baits from top-tier small batch bait makers, if you haven't checked out darkhorsetackle.com yet, you need to. It's one of my favorite baits. Seth recently got a new box, which, by the way, is like all arted out, which is pretty sweet. But nonetheless, already been fishing with these guys, the big Joshy swim baits. These are going to be the Gobies bass candy color. Check that out, man. I had this on a Ned rig when I was up in Michigan and couldn't keep them off them. And I'm heading out tomorrow morning early, heading out to Lake Erie, going after some smallmouth on the break wall. And I only have 3 left. They were tearing them up. So we'll see how long those last. Probably an hour and a half with some smallmouth, but I'm excited about that.
As I always say, I don't even use Yamamoto Senkos anymore. I use the Magnum Baits Reg Stick from Dark Horse Tackle.
There you go. It's changing our fishing link, our lives. Changing our lives. Oh, well, how you been, brother?
Whew.
You killed some ducks today.
Yeah, I killed 2 ducks, 2 mallards out of season. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, long story short, the summer project for my kids is we're going to hatch out some ducks, some mallards. We had a bunch of eggs. They hatched them out all summer. They're 2 weeks old this week, and they go out and swim every day in their little blue pool. I heat it up in the sun out there. They go swim for like 30 minutes.
So cute.
They dive down, eat off the bottom, all that stuff. And then I put them back in the brooder in the heat lamp. Well, sorry if you can hear dogs. My wife just got home.
Don't kill those either.
Today, unfortunately, I put the hose in there and forgot to heat up the water and put them in there. They were like in there for like 15 minutes and they started like rolling over. And then it clicked that the water was too cold. So I hurried up, grabbed them all.
You just went muted. Did you mute yourself? I didn't mute you, did I? I don't know what's happening. Seth is gone, folks. It went to mute, and I don't think I did it. I think you did it. All right, now it's a perfect time for Lewis. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Seth muted himself, I think.
I see the little mute icon. Man, listen, you got to love technology.
I don't know.
You got to
over
love
here murdering
ducks. Can you hear me?
Now he's back. Here we go.
There it is.
It's hooking to my wife's AirPods. So she just got home from a run. Yeah, so she's walking through the house. You probably heard, be quiet.
Yeah, what's going on? Oh my gosh.
I don't know where I ended. Sorry, Luke, give it back to him. I don't know where I was. Go ahead.
No, you're just at the end of murdering 2 of your children's ducks. They're crying in the room, and your wife just got back from running. It's got to console them.
You built the suspense really high, and then you just went
out. Yeah. They got too cold. They died, and 3 very sad kids. They lost 2 ducks. Still have 6 left. But anyway. Back to you guys. Sorry about that.
No, it's great. It's so funny. We're like, oh, whenever we see the videos of like ducks swimming, you're like, I just want a giant bass to come up and swallow that thing whole. And none of us are sad. But right now, Seth is over here,
little babies,
turning them over. Actually, I just watched a video in Lake Erie. I just sent it to my buddy Jake. How the water's turning over, and being that the sheep's head and the drum are really sensitive to that turnover and that cold water below the thermocline coming up, it's less oxygenated. And there's like a giant kill off right now where all these dead sheep's head are just floating in Lake Erie. What? Oh, that is super cute. That was back when there was 8 of them. Now there's 6. All right, let's do an over and under. How many more ducks will Seth kill over the next couple months. Stay tuned on the KFO show. Luis, how's it going, brother?
Pretty good, man. How about you guys? How's
I'm
everything
doing
there?
good. Doing good. I've been following you a little bit. You're blowing up my Instagram feed. So it's like anytime the algorithm's like, hey, Daren, check out this guy and his fishing. I'm like, well, got to have him on the podcast. And then I met you at ICAST.
Yep.
Which is fun. So that was just a couple weeks ago. And I was like, let's get him on. Let's talk North Georgia fishermen. If you guys are not familiar with the name Luis Delgado, kind of goes by both. Depends what platform you're on there. But tell us the story. I always love hearing people's stories before we hop into the tactical of how to level up your August bass fishing game. Kick us off. Tell us your roots. How did you get into fishing? Where did you pick up the kayak paddle, and why'd you turn on the camera?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, fishing holds a lot of weight. My parents came here. I always tell people when I tell my story, I tell them I am the perfect example of the American dream. Like, just a perfect example. My family came here looking for a better life. They brought us, but they were dirt poor, right? And it was a major struggle. But my father and his father, a lot of people may or may not know this, but fishing is giant in Mexico. Bass fishing is huge. Hunting is big. The outdoors is a big scene in Mexico, especially in Monterrey, where they're from. And so they brought that passion with them here to the U.S. And growing up, man, I remember my dad. We barely had money to go to Walmart and maybe get like those giant old school like saltwater reels that for some reason they had at the Walmart in town. Like
in Ohio, like
50 pound mono,
and big game mono.
Yeah. And we'd go to Lanier, man. I kid you not, I remember being a kid and he would finesse his ways into the marinas if they had security, and we'd go fishing for catfish. And that's really where it started for me. And the biggest thing about a kayak for me and getting into it was, I always used to look out on Lanier and look at the boats and watch these anglers. And even when I played ball, there were tournaments around some of the ball fields, and you'd get to see some of those big bass boat tournament guys come in and during weigh-in. And I was always so captivated, man. I mean, I always just wondered what it would be like to get out in water and fish, because I was just used to, fishing with a bobber. We'd also fish with the Coke cans with a line wrapped around.
Oh yeah, man. That's OG.
Man. Oh yeah. I mean, back in like I'd say up to like 98, 2000, we were fishing like that. And so when I discovered kayak fishing around the COVID timeline, and I realized, hey, I can do this like at a pretty decent price, Yeah. I threw up a message on Facebook. I was like, does anyone have a kayak they don't need anymore? And this guy from my church was like, hey, I've got one. Come pick it up. And we got in my mother-in-law's car
right now.
Yeah.
Worth a try.
It was a little orange sun dolphin.
Yes. Tell me you still have it. Don't tell me you got rid of it.
Dude, I had to sell it, man. I had no more room for it.
You needed the $25 you got from it?
Dude, I think I gave it away. But that's where I got started. We picked it up in my mother-in-law's car. I think I have a picture of me in the back of my mother-in-law's car like this, crammed up.
Oh yeah.
With the kayak. And that's where it all began, man.
It was a Sun Dolphin Aruba 10, wasn't it? Bright orange.
Yeah.
Neon.
Yeah. Bright orange neon. Yeah.
I still have it. I still fish out of that thing.
Yeah.
It's literally my throw and go. I'll take it out of my truck. I'll do like a 360 with it, and I'll like throw it like 50 feet. Cause the thing's like indestructible. I'll drag my kids around. I'll hook it up to the mower and drag them around the lawn. You can do anything with those stupid things.
You could do anything with that thing. So yeah, man. But when I learned how much access I had compared to what I used to do, I immediately, fell in love. And so it really just became this passion for me.
Why'd you turn the camera on? Most people are like, I want nothing to do with the camera because it's it's how I cope. It's my therapy. And I don't need to be doing 17 other things. I don't need to tell the world.
Yeah. So I have a history of public speaking in front of large crowds. It's a little wild. Yeah. So I pastored at a giant church. This church had about 26,000 members on a Sunday between different services. So giant church, high production cameras. So
What church was it? I was
Free
a former
Chapel.
pastor myself. Where was it?
There you go. Free Chapel here in the main one is in Gainesville, Georgia, with Jensen Franklin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So started there, and dude, just got really used to being in front of thousands of people, cameras, did radio interviews. So it got to a point where all that anxiety, insecurity had just, it was out of the way. And eventually I used that skill set to start a training business in the gym. So through that business, I learned through social media, I could get partnerships and sponsorships and paid deals. And when I transitioned out of that atmosphere and into, fishing more, I was like, you know what? I know, and I told my wife this yesterday. I was like, I know that if I do this every day, eventually I will be able to do this for a living.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you will.
Sounds familiar.
Welcome to the club, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's why I turned it on, because I was like, you know what? This is fun. I like this. I get to spend time with my friends, my family. I'm outside. Why would I not want to do this more? So that was pretty much the main reason.
All right, so you have a goal to make this thing a full-time gig. Some guys I talk to, or some girls, we don't have a lot of girls on the show. A lot of guys I talk to are like, yeah, I'm going to give it my all, and I know that it's 3, 4, 5, 7 years down the road, but I'm committed to it. So where are you at in that journey? You're seeing the math, you can do the projections about where does that land, your personal income, all that stuff. How many years out are you, or months out? I don't know.
I'm living it now, brother. Like you're
full-time now.
Yeah, I quit my job last year.
Come on.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I quit my job.
I got the hype button over here.
I dig it, bro. I like that. But yeah, man, I quit my job. I was a department manager at a Swiss company for engineering and quality department.
I just fell asleep listening to what.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
I don't know what is that.
NorthGAfisherman.
Listen, bro. It was you only had to put up with a couple of minutes of that. Imagine doing that every day. So we were. I was cooking synthetic rubber for the tracks at the universities and the Olympics.
Okay.
And it was through that process, and I'm a big person of faith and just really prayed a lot about it. I was like, you know what? I think it's the right time to do this. So last year in June, I stepped out and stepped into content creation full time with a very small following, and it was terrifying, but here I am.
Heck yeah, dude! Yeah. I didn't realize you were full time. Awesome. You pulled the trigger early.
Yeah.
Respect.
I pulled it early, man. Yeah.
Everyone's thinking your wife's a sugar mama. Everyone knows it, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Absolutely. I know. I know.
Say it out loud.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you did, bro. Someone's got to say it out loud. But it was I'm gonna tell you this, man. I've gotten 100 no's in the last couple of years. I've gotten hundreds of no's and a few key yeses, a few key relationships that have allowed me to have my hands in social media in a variety of ways, not just content creation, but other things that you can do within the space. So that's been huge for me.
All right. I don't know what that is. Do you want it? You were pretty cryptic about it, so you might not.
Sure. No.
Yeah. I like peeling back the onion a little bit. I love people's stories.
Absolutely. Let's do it, man. But so through content creation, through networking, and just building relationships and using my experience as a communicator and all that good stuff, I took it a step further. So now I'm helping manage social media for some of these companies in the outdoor spaces, some of these fishing companies. So I'm managing their social medias. I've established partnerships with brands outside of fishing, but that are tied into fishing. For example, the perfect example I tell people, the first big contract I landed was with a weather app. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, I don't know how aware you are of this, but a lot of anglers use your app. And I would love to create some UGC ads for you guys or create some content for you guys, give you some deliverables. And it, slowly took off from there. And I learned a lot from that process. So, and other stuff like assisting with marketing, assisting with campaigns, or it can be anything from branching out from fishing. And now the content is evolving more into fishing, camping, overlanding. And now there's a whole nother market that is available for me to reach out to and kind of establish those same protocols as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
The overlanding's cool. I love that stuff. Yeah. When you combine it with fishing, my wife got an iCamper, which it just sits on my truck all the time for the last 3 years. So it's essentially mine. But all the events that I go to, whether it's in the state of Florida, cross country, wherever, I stay in the tent. It saves a crazy amount of money. And it's cool. It's like a camping deal, except for in the South. It's a little warm this time of year to camp. It's a little humid, a little hot.
we run. We've got a trip in South Georgia next week at this this awesome place that's managed for trophy bass, and what's no secret.
Where's the invite? That's my
no secret. No secret. Live Oak Plantation, but down here in South Georgia, it's close to Florida. But yeah, we run fans all night.
You got to.
Yeah,
I put a big box fan in mine, like the big ones. I just
all night long, dude. All night. Yeah. Yep. So we run big fans, and then working on getting a small AC unit for my FSR tent right now.
We tried one of those coolers. What are they called? Deion Sanders had all kinds of ads on it. What was that cooler? The Icy Breeze cooler, where you put ice in it and it has a little fan. And we tried that for camping and ran the fan into the tent on top of my truck. Dude, ice was going in like 2 hours, and then it was hot the rest of the night. It was awful. It's such a bad idea. Yeah,
for 2 hours. Well, speaking of hot weather, let's let this be our segue into tonight. Right?
Let's do it.
We got August. There's a lot happening in August. I'm hearing. I run the Kayak Fishing Freaks, the Facebook group. If you're not on that, by the way, we just hit 41,000 members. Haven't talked about that in a while.
Dang,
it's on fire. I know, right?
Like 20 some.
Yeah, we were at 20, like at the beginning of the season. In the last 2 months ago, I think we doubled. I'm like banning probably 100 people a day. So what I mean, I don't let people in, is what I'm saying. So every day I probably have a couple hundred people I have to go through and look and see, and if they answer their questions, are they bots, so it doesn't make the group trash. And so I'm doing all that work. But I just noticed a lot of people are like, oh, I've gone out, got skunked. Oh, I've gone out. Oh, I've gone out. It sucks. I was talking to Seth earlier. Oh, I've gone out 3 days in a row and didn't catch a freaking thing.
You got to put that in context, man.
I'll give you a chance to talk about it. I'll give you a chance. I know other people out there, they're slamming them. They're getting the goods. And so a lot of people run to the rivers when it gets too hot in the lakes. If you don't have rivers near you, especially that are filled with, or if you a lot of times can't access because you don't have two people and a put in point, put out point, or it's not slow enough that you can run a motor back to your car. You're stuck in the lakes and ponds where it's really hot. And so it's a lot of times hard to get them to bite. So that's why I bring Luis on a little bit, talk about it. Seth, I know you're a bass slayer as well, and I'll give you we'll start with you, Seth. I'm going to give you a chance to give some context to my comment.
I was talking with Daren prior to this, and this time of year, like leading into the season, this next upcoming season, I like to practice, but not practice for events. It's like technique practice. Last year I did a lot of perspective in the summertime, and it's really just take like right now I'm doing forward facing practice with a minnow. So I take a single rod, not even like different weights, like just a single rod, a 1/4 ounce little jig head with a minnow. And I just go out and I force myself to just get better at one technique over and over again. So last year, perspective mode was a big thing for me. Won a ton of money on it. And I went out multiple times last year and got skunked last kind of spring when I was really practicing it in the beginning, just because I was force feeding perspective mode into situations you probably wouldn't want to use it. but I was just doing it because I can tell the differences between fish, just get all those different practice situations in, how to tell what a catfish looks like, what a crappie looks like, what a bass looks like, all that. So this year it's forward facing with the minnow. And I need to get a lot better at it. So the last 3 mornings I've gone out for about 2 to 3 hours and I have not caught a bass, but I'm also fishing in a lake that's not good. Like it's not good bass fishing. It's in Florida. There's no grass in it, which isn't a good sign. There's a lot of big bass, but they're really hard to find right now. So I've seen some 5 and 6 pounders and they've chased it, but I couldn't get them to bite my minnow. And again, I'm not bringing any topwater, any worms, any jerk baits. It's just, if they're not biting the minnow, I'm not
it's the unconfidence bait strategy. I love it.
Yeah.
You'll eventually figure them out.
Right. And that's what happened last year. And I figured out perspective mode and it just went just crazy once you get it. Because if you have your safe rod, if you have your jerk bait or your Texas rig or your Senko, and you look over there and there's like a log laying there and you're like, oh, I'll just grab that and cast. But no, like we're going to stay out in the deepest water. And we're just going to try to find bass that are moving and cast minnows at them. I know that sounds silly to a lot of people probably, but it is a way for me to perfect the technique. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
What's interesting with Seth, as it's much different than me, Seth fishes for money, right? Seth's out there, and Seth also fishes for, he has a dream to kind of do this full time as well at a higher level than YouTube. And so his mind is in a whole different place than I am. I'll go out and just be like, hey, I want to learn this technique today. And then I'll switch to a different technique next day. So that's why I love
my video. I edited my video in like 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, no
Real
fish.
Easy.
No fish. All right, we're done. It's a good one.
Oh, it's going viral, folks. It's going viral.
Yeah.
Luis, tell us what you're doing. Give us a little makeup of what's happening in north of Georgia right now with the water temps and kind of where you're going and where you're getting them right now.
Yeah, so I'll just be honest right off the bat. If I have the opportunity to find fresher water in the rivers above the lake, that's what I'm doing. If there's a tournament, one scenario that I really like fishing, like the tournament trail here last year, the Georgia Bass Nation Series. If there is a dam, if there's you've got your lake, and then, for example, we have Lake Russell here below Lake Hartwell. If we're fishing Lake Russell and I know that they're generating at Hartwell, I'm going to head up there and I'm going to fish that segment of the river because I know they're going to have some of that cooler water coming down and getting some of those fish, a little more active. And so when I have that scenario, I'm completely I'm staying away from the minnow and I'm fishing dirt shallow. Believe it or not. And last year, I remember having a solid second place finish in that scenario where I took a buzzbait early morning, covering water. I know they're generating, I know they're active, and I'm taking advantage of that situation and just covering as much water as possible with a buzzbait. And if I get a bite, slowing down and maybe throwing a wacky worm over there or a fluke. So I'm like the opposite of Seth right now. And what's crazy is I have I guess you could say one of the best jig and minnow lakes around, Lake Lanier here for spotted bass. I mean, it is a spotted bass factory. You can go out there and catch 4s and 5s, and it's a normal thing now. It's not it's not that you want something really special, then you got to look for that 5 and up, Yeah. So clear water, deep holes. And, man, I find myself running in the opposite direction a lot of times, but it's been working for me and I've had momentum. And so much of this is mental that I've just continued to do it until I see otherwise as far as results go. But, for anybody listening, I try to tell people, I'm always going to tell you, I'm not the greatest angler. I'm not like the best, some guys, I've got a couple buddies here, they could fish behind me and it's tremendous what they can do with a rod in their hands. And that's not me. One thing I will do though, is tell people is my mindset. I keep it locked in and I'm going to fish like there's no tomorrow. I'll cast till my arm falls off. So, a lot of that is just that, you know, that hustle mentality. But at the same time, you know, I'm in this strange chapter right now with live scope and everything where I know I have to adapt if I want to continue to be successful in this. But that's basically where I'm at right now.
So you don't have live scope right now?
No, I do. I've got a Garmin 12-inch. I'm looking at it right now. I haven't used it in like 2 months.
Over there,
so yeah, I've got a Garmin. I've got the 12-inch on the native, and then I've got a Lowrance for mapping and side imaging on the side. So I'm running 2 screens.
You got it all.
And
dang.
Yeah. So I've been in my river setup for the last I think the last 2 months, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
I have a buddy, Blake Abbey. So he's won a Hobie BOS previously, but he's kind of like you. He doesn't, not in this aspect, but he doesn't have any electronics on his kayak, but he just will outwork people and like cast and hit proper angles and all that. And he's extremely successful without any electronics at all. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of folks like the elite guys. It's mostly the older generation, but they talk about 1,000 casts a day, or like 1,000 casts in the tournament, just increasing your odds of getting bites and getting around fish. So yeah, I can definitely see that. I ran into your video, Luis. I didn't know you prior. I still don't know you, obviously, but we're friends now.
We're all friends now.
Yeah. But I ran into your video so after the Dale Hollow event, I went to all the people that fish Dale Hollow, just type in Dale Hollow on YouTube and went through and watched everyone's videos. And I saw your 2 videos in there.
Yeah.
But I've seen your videos previously on Instagram. So I kind of all put it together. I'm like, oh, it's this guy. Georgia Fisherman. But how did Dale Hollow go for you on that one?
Yeah. So Dale Hollow was one of those things. You know, I got a late sponsorship offer and I was like, forget it. Let's go. You know, slept in the truck the night before and got half a day of practice. You know, without much experience with Dale Hollows and going after smallies like that. But, you know, even though I didn't finish as well as I wanted to on the last day, there's no service out there. There's nothing out there. And on the last day, I screwed up one of the last fish and I didn't have service when they sent me the message to, hey, you need to fix this.
Yeah. So you're one short then?
Yeah, I was 1 short. So I ended up like way down there.
That makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge difference. So, but for me, man, and what I got to do as an angler and experience some growth, experience a new type of fishery, for me, it was great. And it gave me a big boost and a lot of confidence being able to go out there and not just catch largemouth, but catch smallies as well. You know, I mixed it up. I fished dirt shallow, but then there were moments where I was like, okay, this bite has cut off, or there's a lot of boat pressure in here. Now we got to move offshore and catch some smallies off of the jerkbait, you know, or a drop shot. That was a lot of fun to be able to do that.
Yeah, that was a cool lake. I know Darren's probably itching to ask something here. He's been quiet for like 2 minutes.
No, it's good. No,
the longest segment besides when Chad's on that Daren hasn't talked. And I'm saying,
the mark of a good host is you don't invite other people on to then take over and talk the whole time. So this is good. I want to hear from you guys. But I do have to ask this question because Stinky River Tom, my man, drops $20 and he is going to be the next. Yes, you can buy the question on the show. Absolutely. Anytime you want. Yeah. I don't care if it's 50 cents. If it's $20, I'm going to take some time to answer it. This comes from Stinky River Tom. My man asked the question, any advice you have for someone starting on the ground floor on doing some kayak fishing angling? I'm in a remote area chasing musky and other non-bass species. Appreciate all you guys. Anybody want to take that?
Luis, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Well, musky, that's awesome. We were just up in Tennessee trying to catch some more musky. But anyway, I would say, you know, looking back at everything is to not lose because at the end of the day, you know, even there's a lot of us chasing different species and some of us are fun fishing. Some of us are tournament angling. At the end of the day, the basics are still the basics. you still have to position yourself well. You still have to make a good cast. You still have to present it. You still have to understand the conditions. And I think the biggest thing with that question to me is, don't forget the importance of the fundamentals, no matter what species, no matter what type of river fishing, lake fishing, whatever you may be doing. Those starting key points are so important to your future success. And that's something that, when I started, I kind of almost tried to skip through and ignore, and that really hurt me a lot. Like the cadence of a bait, understanding how it moved and how it reacted in moving water, or or how plastics, what was the fall rate and stuff like that. So just building up a good foundation is going to be super, super important to be successful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Tom, I'm going to not give you an answer because I don't musky fish very often. The only time I've caught musky is when I catch some bluegill and I go to a river and I bobber dog them until they bite. Also, a lot of fun if you know where to fish those areas. However, about 6 months ago, I had this guy on, and he was just a animal when it comes to catching musky. And so I actually have that video. Just type in Wendell Fishing. I think it's Musky Fishing 101. It's about an hour long. And man, we go through the lures, you go through the line, how to track them. And this guy he was a monster. And so I'm going to send you over there, and I think you're going to get a lot of value out of that. Seth, you have anything to say there on musky?
Yeah. Not on musky, but on just starting on the ground floor at kayak fishing. Don't you have a program to help out on the safety aspect of that? Because kayak fishing is a little bit different than boat fishing, bank fishing. Obviously, it can get a little dangerous. So
good way to kill yourself. In fact, now that I've been starting to write, and it's in my algorithm and what Google knows that I type and research, I get them almost every day because I text them to Chad, because Chad and I are creating something. If you guys listen to the show, you've heard of KFAS, Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training, and the curriculum is done and it's out for review from some retired Coast Guard members, high-level Coast Guard members, a few other people that, if I mention their names, they're part of our advisory board. And so right now it's kind of out for review, and we're getting great feedback. We got a couple more feedback loops, and then Chad and I will start videoing, and then we'll start putting into a learning management system. So we're still a little way out, just because our Coast Guard guy is right now moving. And it's 78 pages of curriculum. So we will see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, almost every day I'm getting things to my phone. Kayaker dies. Kayaker flips out, not wearing PFD. Kayaker in sun, can't find them. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but I'm like sending them every single day. Oh, I saw this one. It was crazy recently, Seth. It was as well as this picture of this rod. It looked like it was like someone shot it with a shotgun. The thing was like frayed. Didn't even look like a rod.
Lightning.
This is what happens when lightning hits your rod. I was like, holy crap, because I just got done writing that section in the curriculum of not fishing in the lightning and really what it means and kind of getting into the science of it. And then I saw that photo. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to write this guy so I can buy that rod so I can use it in my teaching. Anyways.
Have you ever been out fishing? Speaking of safety and lightning, have you ever been out fishing where you cast out and your line rises?
Oh, bro. That's scary as crap.
That's some sketchy stuff. And you're like, all right, I'm done. Get it.
I mean, I've heard of like the next, your hair,
you've never had it happen?
I don't fish in lightning storms. No.
Well, no, but like what is it? I don't know. The electricity in the air, whatever. But
the static charge in the air.
Yes.
You can hear it. Yeah.
Usually you have a sag in your line, right? You don't have the sag anymore. Like the lifts.
I'm gonna be looking out for it now. I fish under a lot a lot of power lines. Maybe that'll.
Well, the next time a storm's coming in, just
I'll do a little test. Seth, that I should do it.
A little test.
I'm gonna keep Oh my gosh. Yeah, from this point out, I can't do anything non-safety related. People are just gonna roast me from now until I gotta be on best behavior. All right. You were talking, Luis, about using the buzzbait. What's your favorite buzzbait? Because I've had, I received some buzzbaits from Dark Earth Tackle. I've fished the Brazzalos, which are awesome. So what's your favorite and why?
Oh man, I've got it hanging up back here.
What
It is
don't you have hanging up back there?
Yeah.
Can we talk about your bait wall?
the
That's how I know you were really full time before you said it.
Buckeye
It's like, homie's
lures.
got a bait wall, and it's not just like for those of you listening in, listening in live, he's got like $1,000 worth of Yamamotos, and it's
No, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm
That's
surprised
my
you're not
O-
falling off your bait wall there. So
that's my OCD, man. That's my OCD. I got to stay super organized, or I freak out. But my favorite buzzbait, man. It is by the small company. This guy, I believe he is in Arkansas. It is Buzzin' Bait. The company is called Buzzin' Bait. And here's my deal, man. Like, if I suck with a bait, I will leave it in my hands until I finally figure it out or figure something out or whatever. And for years, I tried different buzz baits. Here in Georgia, obviously, these Southeast states, man, there's a tournament every day. There's an event every day. There's something going on every day. There's pressure everywhere. And so I tried just about every buzzbait possible. And then I got my hands on this one. And it has this particular squeak that, man, they are so vicious with it. The spotted bass here in the river systems and in the lakes are vicious with it. I mean, they attack it just so aggressively. And that is my go-to buzzbait. And I really, if you're listening, you're looking for a good buzzbait, Buzzin' Bait. I don't work with him. He's not telling me to say this. He's a great guy, and he makes a really good product. So
there you go.
It just flat out catches him. It just works.
You got Johnny Bennett over here, the Wee Whacked,
The Wee Whacker.
These are all from the Brazzolo, right?
Yeah.
From Dark Horse. Yep, 100%.
Yep.
I like it. I don't use a buzzbait very often, but I do like the one that from Brazzolo. Within just a few casts was already catching on them. So that's a lot of fun. Of course, we had Tactical Fishing Co. on. He loves the buzzbait. I think, what did he say, Seth, when we were on that show? He's like, oh, I caught like 2 or 3 8s, 2 8s in like 10 minutes on that buzzbait. Oh my gosh. It's like, homie,
better than me.
Y'all need to calm down with your buzzbait. I don't love fishing it. I know when to fish it. Trust me, that bite is fun. I don't know. I have a lot of other things that I enjoy more. But what you said, Luis, is key, right? It's what I've been teaching for years with the unconfidence lure. I always recommend, if you're going to carry a bunch of lures, or just like Seth was doing this past week, have one that you're not confident in. And if you're really like next level, want to raw dog it, is you just carry that one. Like, don't even give yourself the chance.
No excuse
of picking up your confidence, because you're like, oh man, I don't care if it's a dink. I'm going to put that wacky worm on. If you don't have it, then you're just forced to figure out your unconfidence lure. So I see a lot of comments over here like, I just need to do that. Yeah, just do it. Yeah. Trust me. It will make you a more well-rounded angler, and it's going to help you out down the line.
That's an underrated piece of advice, I would say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at the video.
Yeah.
Most underrated pieces of fishing advice. Oh, I got that. It's coming out this week. Oh my gosh, I got a video coming out this week. Seth,
oh yeah, yeah. So tell us
asked me about it. I was like, I don't want to tell you the whole thing.
Yeah, I have it written down here. Tell us about the video you have coming out.
This past week, I did just a real quick short. It was me, and it was a completely wrapped new kayak. And so what happened was, on the podcast, Luis, I had the bearded paddler on, and usually every year with the bearded paddler, since he worked at a paddle shop, I was like, oh, we'll do the best and worst kayaks of 2023, 2024, 2025. And so we get out on this rant, and we start talking about, the lowest, the budget kayaks, the Alibaba kayak. That's what he said. Yeah. So I get this email from this kayak company. They're like, hey, we didn't appreciate it. It's like, hey, we don't agree. And I was like, well, that's fine. Okay. Oh, you don't have to agree. I mean, this is an interview, and I'm a host. Those aren't things that I said. Those are his personal experience with it. And so I'm like, I'll give it a fair shake if you want to send me one. Not thinking in a million years they would send someone a budget tier pedal kayak for someone who runs a top tier pedal kayak. I'm not quite sure what was going through your brain, but 3 weeks later, it's in my freaking driveway. And so that's what it was. It's like, you know what? I want to honestly give this a fair shake. So I review all my kayaks the same way. I go through all the features. I do on the water testing. I give my breakdown, and I walk through portability, riggability, if there's the pedal drive, how it coalesces with the design, all those things. I give it 4 out of 5 paddles, and I say who's the best kayak this is for. And let's just say
it blew your mind.
And I'm not telling you who the company is. You have to watch the video on Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m.
All right.
Let's just say I'm not sure they're going to send me a second. Let's put it that way.
They're going to try to block your video from posting.
I have a feeling I'm going to hear from them probably a couple hours after that thing goes live.
You'll definitely.
But maybe not. I gave it an honest shake, but I mean it's a $1,800 pedal kayak. And it's got some, in my opinion, some very glaring, specifically how the pedal drive coalesces with the design of the kayak. You guys will have to watch it, but nonetheless, that's what that's all about. So I've been working on that. It's a longer video, but I think a lot of people out there, when they're typing in, especially getting into kayak fishing, they're like, "Oh yes, I don't want to paddle. That sounds like that sucks. I'm interested in the pedal drive, but."
Like a budget friendly version.
Yeah, that price is a little too hot. And so then they start going to the budget, and then they'll likely land on my video and be like, "Oh, here's a review." And the whole goal of it was not tell you to buy it, not tell you not to buy it. Just want everyone to be make a more informed decision. So that was fun. 10K sweaty fishing. I bet they will disagree with you again. Well, they didn't disagree with me last time. Disagreed with the bearded paddler. So this will be the first time. We'll see what happens. Oh my gosh! At least I didn't kill 2 ducks this morning, right? Feeling pretty good about myself. Hey-o. All right. Hi, bud. All right. So, are there any lure colors that are just money for you right now in hot, stained, clear August water, whatever you're fishing right now? Is there anything that's just like overperforming? Seth, if you were allowed yourself to do the jerkbait, I would imagine it's still going for you.
It's the same. That's why I'm boring for some of this stuff, guys, because I throw the same stuff all the time. Stuff that works, man. Unless it's like chocolate milk or crystal clear water. If it's anywhere in between, I mean, I just throw the same boring colors, the same shad pattern jerk baits. I don't switch it up
in the summer.
What's it?
I don't touch one. I don't even touch one.
If you go through my Instagram from last June, July, it's like 7-pounder, 7-pounder, 8-pounder, 9.5-pounder, all on jerk baits.
Jerk baits.
Yeah. But I mean, I throw the reg stick, like I said, for like a wacky rig or any type of stick bait. And that is in the dark horse tackle color, which is like a brownish purple color. And then I throw like shad jerk baits. Man, it's boring. It's super boring for me. So Luis, you probably have a better diverse selection for your summer. That's probably
I don't know, man. I don't know about this summer, man. It's pretty boring this summer. Let me ask you this, talking about jerk baits. Have you experimented with jerk baits in dirty water at all?
Yeah.
Do they work for you?
Well, I hit him in the head with it. I'm looking at him when I cast at him. So yeah,
I guess it's a little different. They're just sitting there in the water.
I don't. They definitely don't react this far. So I can see if you're in. Let's just say you're in perspective mode. They will not go very far to go get it because they can't see it as well. But if you get it close to them,
give me actual radius, 5, 10, 15, 20 feet.
Yeah,
clear
that's what I'm. That's what I'm interested. Yeah.
How dirty? Like what's visibility?
Oh man, I started experimenting with it in I think we had I'd say 3 to 4 inches of visibility.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get close.
Chocolate milk over here.
Yeah, and it makes it hard. Like the dirtier the water, the harder it is for they just don't see it very well.
I got hit a few times, man. I was shocked. So it must have been right in the zone.
The other thing you got to think about too is your jerk bait is it's reacting, and it's harder for them. They already miss it. Like in clear water, you throw in a jerk bait, they'll already miss your jerk bait. Like when they come to hit it, you might be jerking right when they go to hit it, and they'll miss. You'll hook them in the side of the face, you'll hook them in the back. So in dirtier water, it makes it even more difficult. I tend to go weightless, wacky rig Senko type stuff if I'm looking at them, right? I'm not just going to go in the open water and just throw a Senko in the middle of nowhere. But because it stays in the strike zone longer. So if I know there's a fish there, I can drop it down in them on top of them. They can feel that. They can come up and hit it. But yeah, they work, but it's not going to be as a higher rate of success as it would be if it were clear water. My opinion.
I need a mental picture of this, Seth. All right. Give me a concentric circle. Like you got 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. And you got clear water all the way to dark water. And then you got depth of the fish. Because I know the closer they are to the surface, the higher percentage you're going to catch them. So help me understand how that all coalesces together. So say super clear water, bass is 10 feet down. How close you got to get that jerk bait to that bass?
So I don't get to fish a whole lot of clear lakes like up in the Northeast, like the New York, all that, but I know they'll come from deep. I mean, they'll hit top water.
I've seen 20, 25 feet. They'll come get it. Yeah.
They'll come. You can throw top water and for smallmouth sometimes in that. So they'll come far, like clear lakes. They'll come, like he said, like Luis said, like 20 feet. They'll come very far. As you get to Florida, so like just average visibility, I don't know, 3-4 feet, something like that. Sometimes clear. They can feel it. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I never sat there and really thought about it, but it's probably, I don't know, 7-8 feet, maybe double visibility. And if I set it there, if I throw out and I set it and just let it sit, they'll feel it and then they'll start coming that way and then I'll start working it. Yeah, somewhere around there. I'd have to sit down and really, or just fish and see. But definitely the lower the visibility, the shorter the range, without a doubt. And that's why when things are muddy, it's tough to catch fish for a lot of folks. Just because you're throwing casts, you might be 3 feet from them, but they're not going to come over and grab it. So you learn a lot, man. You learn a lot. Yeah. Let's go. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because my biggest question is, let's say the visibility changes as you get deeper. If you've got a couple of inches here, as you get deeper, you start to have more and more and more and more. So, it's a little, I think it's like you said with live scope, man, you get to see a lot of that behavior. And I've seen those fish, especially on the near with spotted bass. They can be so aggressive when they're in those wolf packs. I mean, you find a big school that's active, they're going to wreck anything. And I've seen those fish in stained water, with the division, the +1, they'll shoot up from like 40 feet up to 20 feet, because I'll put stickers on it. Who makes those little stickers? The storm stickers to get it down there. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, they're weighted
stickers. Yeah. I'll stack those stickers on there and on my swim baits and stuff like that to try to get down there, because I just want to see what they'll do. Yeah, and they'll come get it, and it's pretty cool to see.
Dang it! I need a freaking live scope. I don't need it like I need it to fish. I just want to see how bass are behaving.
It's crazy, man. Like,
I'm doing all right now. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm
having a good old time.
You have to do it before your life is over, Daren. You have, not that it's going to be anytime soon, but you have to just be able to see like how fish react to baits. It'll change so much of what like you think you know. I mean,
I'm getting there. I have some ins with some companies that I'm working right now. It'll be one of the three. It's coming. It's coming. Trust me.
Does it rhyme with Larman?
Romance or Larman? Or rumming herd?
Yep. No, it's just cool, man. It's the coolest, regardless of how you feel about competitive fishing and all that with it. It's like the coolest video game. It's the coolest movie. I mean, if you love fishing and you get to see a fish chase your bait or react to a bait, it's addicting. Like, it is so addicting. I love it.
I'm already addicted. So I mean, this is going to this next level addiction.
Yeah. It's also the most frustrating as well.
Oh yeah. You don't realize how many fish chase your bait that don't bite.
Yeah. It's crazy. I used to think the number one thing my dad used to say, there's no fishing here. Why'd you bring me here?
Oh, yeah.
And so, growing up, I kind of kept that mentality. I'm like, I'm in the wrong spot. There ain't fish here. It's like the moment you put the boat in the water, in the boat ramp, you just flash scope and it's like fish
everywhere, man.
And they're just
nope, they're not there. I just put my boat in yesterday. I'll put it in tomorrow. There's no fish.
He said, "What are you talking about? There ain't nothing there."
And it's a good
Yeah.
feeling after to fish a spot and be like, I know there's no fish here because I put a lure in front of every single one of their heads. And I can just blissfully unaware go to my next spot. You guys are like, oh no, there's 100 fish down there and I couldn't catch them.
Literally, man. Literally.
One thing that, you know, like,
Literally.
I don't know if you guys deer hunt, but like you have a buck on camera and you see this big buck come through. Like I remember archery hunting. So I would draw back and I have like an area, I have a lane, a shooting lane to shoot. And I needed to stop in the shooting lane. So I'm draw back. And then the deer like walks through the shooting lane and goes into brush and then walks away. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so close to having my opportunity. That's how the big bass, when you see like a 7-8 pounder, or even if it's not a 7-8, it's like a 5 or whatever in a tournament, you see it chasing a bait or going towards like your wacky rig that's sinking. You're like, oh my gosh, just please bite this, please bite this. And then it's like, no thanks. So it's like, oh man, those are painful ones, man.
Let's be honest. Have you ever snapped a rod in anger? Like Mike Yaconelli, this thing?
No, I broke my chair. So man, what happens when I get frustrated? Like usually it's only when like a big one comes off or something, but like for some reason, I just like stiffen up, like go straight. And I like push back in my chair just in a fury. Like I just slam back.
Those videos at? Those are the best ones where you snap the big one and you're like,
you gotta be kidding me. But no, I haven't broken a rod.
Not yet.
I can't keep behind rods. I don't know the people you know, Daren.
I might be getting a new set of different brand rods. That's something.
Of course you are. Yep.
Coming.
What are you gonna do with the old ones?
I beat up my rods pretty good, and so they've been abused. We'll see. I like giving away to people who are like, oh man, I wish I had that.
I know. I wish I had that.
Yeah, just like you, Seth. People just like you. Yeah. I love shipping them up and put them, spending $50 to send them to people. That's my favorite. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, let's change. If you have a question for Luis or for Seth or myself, I'm going to take this one. Give you guys a second to think about it. But have you been experimenting with anything new this summer? Baits, rigs, techniques that surprised you? And if you follow my content at all, you will know that I am playing around with the old punch rig, and I am having a freaking ball. This thing is awesome. So if you've never fished the punch rig before, it's essentially just a heavy. It's not really it's like a bullet type weight. I buy the ones that you can like fit the skirt on, which is that you peg them so they can't move up the line. Put a nice flipping hook on it, and you put a nice slim creature bait. And you put all that weight on it. I have mine right now at an ounce to get through all these lily pads and get through these mats, because right now it's freaking hot in Ohio. And in the mornings, as the sun comes up, it's fairly easy to get them not punching, right? And then in the evenings, the sun's going down, it's really get them not punching. But when in the middle of the day, when like 10:30 and the bite turns off, I know where they went. They all went slithering underneath these lily pad fields that I have up here in Ohio. And so I just put my pedal drive up and I run my kayak just straight into the lily pads. Probably a good 20-30 yards, and I stop. And then I'll like get something to drink and I'll, get my rod ready and I'll check my phone, then I'll post, and basically like spook them all, right? So under lily pads, between the lily pads and the bottom, it's not more ever than usually 6 feet. They just don't grow that deep. So it's anywhere from a foot to 6 feet. So I run my kayak in there. I give it about 10 minutes. Then I stand up and I just basically start flipping these holes. And a lot of times it's so dense up here in Ohio, the hole might be like a quarter. And so I have to cast it over there. And what I do is I don't let it like hit the pad really, really hard. This is where I've kind of been dialing in my unconfidence lure. So I'll basically cast it on a pad with a light. So I'll feather it right before it hits. So it's real light. It's going to get any attention of any bass below. Then I slowly move it until I can find a hole. Then when I find a hole, I can tell because the weight starts dropping. So I click my bail and let it fall, let it hit the bottom, pop, 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 pop. And it's either going to get hit within the first couple pops, or I reel it up. And if there's no grass on it, I reel it probably another 5 feet, 10 feet, and then find the next hole and drop it down. And eventually you just get that hit and you just set the hook like a mother. And it is so freaking fun. It's just so much fun. Everyone else is out there fishing the same spots, fishing the same brush piles, fishing the same points, especially if you're going out on a Saturday, going out on a Sunday. I was at one of my favorite lakes around here, Lake Nemasilla, And I think I looked around on a Friday and I counted 27 vessels.
Jeez.
27 with a line of sight. Wow. And I was like, they're all out there in open water and none of them are up in here flipping or punching. But that's where I was just catching them over and over again.
Do you think you're catching on average bigger fish or just
I mean, right now, if you're catching any fish in a lot of these lakes with the water temps being what they are, I'll get back to the boat ramp. You know, you're just, hey, what you get? Well, skunk today. I caught one dink. I mean, I'll catch 2-3 pounders. I just kind of started doing it, and I'm just starting now figuring out, because not all lily pad sections are the same. You kind of want to find the lily pad points when I've been having a lot of success. Not a lot of grass, not too far deep, but not so close to the edges. And I'm just slowly trying to figure this out for myself. But usually that 4-foot range right now, underneath the lilies, not a lot of grass, on points, closest to deep water you can find. That's where I'm having the most success. And it's been a lot of fun just to yank bass out of lily pads. It's like, oh my gosh, I've never fished this way before. But one thing I do want to say, I hurt myself pretty good. I have a 1-ounce tungsten, and of course you get it stuck all the time. And stupid me, I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm trying to yank it out, right? However, don't yank it out by loading up your extra heavy, extra fast. That thing came flying out of there, and it hit like the bone of my elbow, and it was sore for 2 days straight. And I'm just thinking, if I would have hit my tooth, I'd be missing my 2 front teeth right now with a 1-ounce tungsten flying back at 80 miles an hour.
Those punching rigs have ruined a lot of units, a lot of screens.
Oh, I'm sure.
A lot of 12-inch screens.
What I'm saying is, if you get it stuck, don't load up your rod, just pull on the 65-pound braid and let your reel take the brunt of that, and so you don't end up hurting yourself, or put it through your eyeball, or put it through your $300 Costas or whatever you're running. But the punch rig, that's what I'm trying to say. If you have never tried that out and you're having trouble in hot water in the middle of the day, is maybe the only time you can get out in the water, that is a ton of fun. A lot of fun. Seth,
that takes time to get confidence with if you've never done it before, because you got a heavy rod, you got a heavy weight, you're flipping in there. It's not a typical, it's a lot different than regular fishing. It's a lot different than throwing any other bait.
Yeah.
Because you're just throwing in there, you're dropping it in, jigging a couple times, reeling it in, throwing up, dropping it in, jigging a couple times, reeling it in, and it's just heavy. It's like a different feel to everything. So yeah, it takes some time. If you're just starting out, it takes some time to get used to tossing that heavy weight in there. I don't do a whole lot of it. I will if I need some big bites. I'll go flip some thick stuff. Hydrilla is what I typically will punch, because if you can drop down in that hydrilla, it'll open up in the bottom sometimes. Yeah. But man, these hydrilla fields in Florida, they can be miles long. Like,
gosh,
it's hard. It's almost better to find openings and flip like a wacky rig into an opening. But a rig for me, not right now, but this year. So right now I'm throwing a minnow and trying to get better at it for this upcoming season. But a rig for me is the Nico rig, which I really didn't throw at all prior to the Dale Hollow event. And I used the reg stick, which is essentially like a Senko, and just threw a little weight on it. What did I have? It was just like a little nail weight is what I have. And I ran out of them because the smallmouth would just toss them like crazy. So I put little screws in now. But a Nico rig has surprised me a lot. So not only for bed fishing. So on Dale Hollow, I did bed fishing there the entire event on a Nico rig, and that got me second place in that event. And then just in general, just throw it, like I can see what the fish are doing. They chase it to the bottom, and I can work it a little bit differently than like a Texas rig or any type of other worm where the weight is at the head. So like a shaky head, it's just different. It's just like a different action, almost like it's feeding on the ground. So yeah, the Nico rig has been my new staple bait. So I have like a wacky, I'll have a Nico, I have a jerkbait, have a minnow. So it's one of those. It's made it to one of my main rods on my kayak. So yeah, like Nico.
Luis, what's something you got going on? You can't say buzzbait. Gotta be something different.
No. It's not gonna be the buzzbait. But right now, we've been getting a lot of rain, so I've been dealing with a lot of stained water, and I never thought I'd find myself throwing this as much, but the Z-Man Big Blade with a 5.5 spunk shad, like something that I would have been too afraid to throw, man, it has been doing really well in stained water. And I've actually been surprised, like, especially if I know that I'm in a section or an area where these fish are feeding, or they might be a little more active than the other areas I've been in. It's been really good. So just winding it out there and just slow rolling it on the bottom. The big blade is great at deflecting off of stuff, and just almost treating it sometimes like a jig. It's just slow rolling, winding, and just feeling bottom contact, making sure I knock like every little rock or every little branch, and trying to be, super patient with it. Sometimes, I'll hop it off the bottom, pop it off the bottom, and that'll get some big bites. So I had a great day with it the other day, and that was a blast for spotted bass and shoal bass here on the Chattahoochee River. So yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Way down yonder.
Yeah.
When I was down fishing with Hoover, he's like, "Hey, tie on this big blade. I was like, "All right." And he's like, "It's kind of like dink repellent. Like you won't get as many bites, but when you get them, they're usually on the larger side because it's such a big thump, and you got a 5-inch on there. That's a big profile of a bait. So I imagine whenever it gets hit, it's usually on the 2.5 plus side. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I like it.
2 and up. That's a great way to describe it. Is a dink repellent for sure.
So those days where you to keep catching the little ones, you gotta upsize somehow. All right, what do we have over here? I got some questions for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw those in. We'll get those answered for you. Seth, do you happen to see them? I'm kind of on a different section over here looking at different questions.
Drop one in.
Here we go. Steven Sturgeon got a question for us. Any tips for fish that follow a moving bait but don't hit before you get it back to your kayak? Not much room to work a figure 8 like a big boat. And if I stop, well, the fish just turns away.
That's
a tough one.
Yep,
that's accurate. That is accurate. I'll just go real quick. Yeah, there's man, that's the battle right there. I'm guessing you're looking at them, whether it's clear water or on forward facing somehow, but the key is to try to get them interested when they're not close to the kayak. If you can get that fish out there further, it gives you more time. I haven't found like a perfect scenario. For me, man, I'll try. The only thing you can do is slow it down and try to let them get close and do like a couple like real tiny small twitches. That's like a last resort, but I mean that hardly ever works. I don't really do a figure 8 or anything. It's the battle is either let them take a really good look at it close to the kayak, and maybe you could get a reaction bite with one little twitch. But if they get a good look and don't bite, they're not going to bite again. Like they're not going to chase you next time probably. So usually if it's a big fish and I need to catch it, I'll go for it. I'll go slow, let them get a good look and try to do a twitch and get a reaction bite. If they don't bite, I have to change baits. So then I go to like a glide or go to something else and keep throwing at them. But I honestly don't have a good answer for that. Maybe Luis, you have something.
No, it's like you said, there's not like this one thing. The only thing I think that's worked a little bit, is if I'm working a moving bait, I'll speed it up as I get closer to the kayak. I'll speed it up. I'll kill it just let it completely die. And then usually I might get either a reaction, a swipe, or a bite, and I just pray they get hooked at that time. That's happened a couple of times, but it's like you said, it's there. There's right now, there's not really oh man, I know this will work like a good amount of times. No, I'm not there yet.
I think there is enough room to do a figure 8 if you want to do one. You just got to move that bait closer to the tip of your rod. You can do it with a kayak. You can make it happen if you wanted to. I think the key is what Seth said. Because a lot of times people are like, "Oh, I missed it," and they hurry up and throw the same bait out. your chances of catching on the same bait are extremely low. And this is why people ask the question all the time, why do you carry so many rods with you? Why do you carry 8 rods? Because I can't carry 13. That's why I can't carry 8. That's it. And so picking something else out, retargeting quickly is going to be key for you. I like it.
Yeah.
Great question, Steven. You got any more questions? Anybody else? I can't believe it. We're already at an hour 10. This is a lot of fun. All right. Go ahead and take this one, Seth.
Seth, what do you? This is one of the guys down here. Is it Granger? I think is his name in Florida. Seth, what are you throwing right now down here? It's been tough fishing for me. Well, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I've gone out 3 times this past week and haven't caught a fish.
Don't listen to Seth. He has nothing.
Yeah. So don't come to me. But I'm throwing a minnow right now, man. I'm just practicing with scope. So I haven't been really fishing any other technique other than the deepest water on Lake Manatee by my house. So like 30 feet of water and just a minnow. So that's it for me at the moment.
I have a question for you, Seth. Because you said, when I said the punch rig, you're like, oh, I only do the punch rig when I need big bites.
Yeah.
Which kind of threw it off. Why wouldn't you fish it all the time?
Because
if you know you're going to get the big bites.
So are we tournament fishing or are we fun fishing?
Fun tournament fishing.
Both.
You're not having fun fishing? What's going on?
You're doing both.
You're doing it wrong.
If we're going out just to catch a big fish, you can punch all day and get 2 bites and catch like a 7-8 pounder in lily pads.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Who would take that? Anybody listening in? Anybody raising their hand to that?
Not every day, right? But like it can happen. Like you go punch big stuff, you're gonna get to fish that other people aren't at, and there's gonna be big ones. But I can't win an event with 2 fish, so I gotta get
big fish. Come on, take on the $1,000 check.
Like $1,000. We have to go triple that. No, so like it's about building a bag, right? What is the highest average fish that I can get over the course of a day or 2? So if I have a good bag and I just need a kicker, maybe I'll go do that.
Okay.
Or I'll go turn scope on and just go look for giants floating around. But
yeah.
All right. I forget where I was even at. Oh yeah, the big bite thing. Any other questions over there? If not, I have one for you.
One last one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anyone fishing the Kayak Adventure Series Big Bass Power Hour on the Susky?
Ooh.
So I grew up on the Susquehanna in Halifax, Pennsylvania. 18 years, lived right on the river. Walked out there all summer, waded just in our sandals and sneakers, old sneakers typically, and just go out there and fish all the time on the Susquehanna. I mean, I'm not fishing it. Daren, are you fishing it? Are you going out there?
It's actually this. Like, if I was fishing it, I'd be leaving tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was doing it. When it comes to tournaments, I actually cut off all of my tournaments. I don't know if I told you this. I was doing online tournaments. I was doing Kayak Adventure Series. I was planning on doing this KAS event and the next one. And after I did one KAS event, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. But I just went full time 3 months ago. And I was like, wait a second. I need to focus on activities that make me money.
Yeah, I had that
I don't have a sugar mama, Luis.
I had that same situation. Listen, my wife is from Jersey. Don't let her hear you. She is Dominican and from Jersey, so
oh boy, yeah,
we're in dangerous waters right now.
Firecracker,
all of us.
I love it.
But yeah, no, I had the same. I had to give tournament fishing a break here the last few months as well. So yeah. No, I love it. And when I get to the point where I got some more margin and we're not like counting pennies at the end of every month, I'm like, hey, I can get back into that and have some kinds of money to blow. For right now, it's thin. It's thin at the end of the month, but it's good. I forget the question was. Yes, I was going to fish it, but now I am not.
Yeah, just got to win, Daren. Just
all I got is win, no matter what. Yeah, I get it. So I got a question for you guys. Unless, Luis, you were going to answer that, weren't you? Did you have something?
Which one?
Susquehanna.
I love that tournament setup. The hourly.
Yeah.
Payout.
I fished it. I fished one last year, but no, I'm not going to be at that one. No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Pick your own adventure. So 2 questions here. If someone's stuck catching dinks all summer, what's your advice to help them step up to a dunk, right? Or if you can give kayak anglers one tip to catch more bass in August, what would it be? We're talking numbers. Which one?
Luis, go ahead, brother.
All right. Seth, I figured, are you going to go in the live scope direction?
Whichever way you want, man.
Okay. So I'll say for my anglers without live scope, if you're stuck catching dinks and you're struggling in August, let's go to the lake since I've been talking about the river a lot, and fishing without live scope. Number one, I've been trying to diversify where I catch fish and getting away from the normal, hey, this is where I catch fish. Here's a long point, here's a secondary channel. I've been trying to look for those areas that other anglers are going to miss on the map. And I'm talking about, tournament anglers or just your everyday anglers, because most of us that have been doing this long enough and are passionate enough, we can all look at a lake and just be like, oh, good spot, good spot, good spot, good spot, good spot. And that's where most of your typical anglers are going to go to those areas. So I've been trying to mark those areas and then avoid them and then try and go make it work somewhere else. And then the second thing is on the other side of that spectrum is if that's not working on the lake, I will look for it on the south end of Lanier. The south end of Lanier gets pounded. I mean, it just gets wrecked daily. And so one thing I've tried is going to a community hole. And if I know everyone's throwing a mooch minnow in that community hole, I'm just going to go something totally all pink Nico rig. I'm going to try to mix it up as much as I can. So far I've been able to catch fish. I haven't had fantastic days, but I've been able to break that. Man, I can't catch a limit today. And I've had plenty of those days out here on Lanier. It's gotten, I think August, September out here in Lanier in a kayak, it can be so hard, so difficult to literally put together a limit. And we're talking about spotted bass. I had a buddy who told me that I was super lucky. Spotted bass will eat a leaf floating in the, So yeah, those are the two things that I've been working on, that you can do without live scope. Yeah.
I like it. Seth?
Ask the question again. Yeah. Can you ask the question again? I forget the question.
It was a pick your own adventure. Essentially, if someone's struggling and just catching dinks, they want to upgrade and they want to get their PB donk, it's a different way of fishing. What would you recommend? Or if someone's like, hey, it's like a dink fest or a skunk fest, how do I get more numbers?
Okay. So with scope, just don't cast at the small lights on your graph, just cast the big ones.
Only. You skip
No, if you want
to spend time on them, right?
You don't even bother with the small ones on your scope. You can tell the difference. Once you get good at it, you can tell what's a 12, 14, 15, 16, 17 inch. The 18s, 20s look similar, and above that, if you see one, I can tell what a 24-inch bass looks like on there. They're just giants. You're not going to see a lot of them, but you just don't cast at the small ones. That's if you have scope. But I'm guessing they don't have scope. But if you want to catch more fish and you're catching a lot of small ones, oh man, if that were me and I'm practicing for an event and I'm catching a lot of small bass, I'm trying to think of this in my perspective. What would I do? I would move to a different level of the lake. So let's say you're shallow and you're catching a lot of like 12 inchers. I'd push out a little bit further. If you're in 3 feet, I'd push out to 6 to 10 feet and try that zone. Because if you're catching a lot of fish and they're just not big, there's probably not a lot of big ones there where you're at. So I would suggest just shifting out into the lake a little bit further, a little bit deeper water, maybe deeper structure, whether that's brush piles or something like that. And the deep parts of the lake always hold big bass. So you don't have to go to the deepest, but just push out a little bit further.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'll answer it for someone who doesn't have scope and for numbers and size. And so I wrote down 6 things here. And some of them are like, okay, Daren, I can't do that. But if you ever can, then do it. Number 1, night fishing, especially when it's so freaking hot. If you ever had a chance, I know a lot of you guys work, 9 to 5s, 8 to 4s, 8 to 5s, 8 to 8s, whatever it is. And you're like, I can't get out for an overnight and it wrecks my schedule and I got a family, blah, blah, blah. But if you ever have a chance to go night fishing, especially in the heat of the summer, there's nothing like being on a lake when there's no one else on the lake, right? And a lot of times, a lot of the big girls, they won't even eat until night. And so you're not even going to get a chance unless you're super uber lucky and put it right in front of their nose during the day. 2, a lot of people just go to the rivers. I shared that earlier. And so if you're like, hey, I'm not having luck on just hit the river. If you got one, find a buddy, fish a river. It's a lot of fun. I started doing that a little bit more. I fished the Mad River, caught my personal best brown trout this past year with Cincy Fish Dudes. Also, I understand may not be possible to you for those of you who work 9 to 5s, but fishing the weekdays and fishing weekends, different ballgame, right? Mm-hmm. There's a big difference when there's 3 boats on the water on a Monday or a Tuesday morning, and then a Friday when I'm counting 27 vessels, and I'm now hitting the spot that 8 other fishermen hit earlier that day with the gamut of lures. And so there's that. Early morning. I used to, when I was working in 9 to 5, this can be really good, is I would get up before work and go fish and get back to my office, and I work from home in time to work. Sometimes I might have been a little late sometimes, Seth. Maybe a little bit.
I do that. That's what I'm doing. Go out for a couple hours, get back.
No, I'm talking, when I say get up and go before work, I mean you were on the water before the sun comes up. And I can't tell you how many quality bass will hit during that time of the day. And so that's a big for bigger fish and for more fish, especially in the heat of the summer. And then the evenings, do the same thing on the back end of the day. If you can get away with it. Having families tough, I get it. But the punch rig, the heat of the day, you can a lot of times when I'm leaving at 11 a.m., like I'm seeing boats get on the water. It's like, you guys are gonna have a tough day. Unless you're going to where they go, really, really deep, or they're hiding in the grass. So if you never fished the punch rig, I got a couple videos I've done on that recently. Head over Wendell Fishing, type in Wendell Fishing punch rig. It'll bring it up for you. Try that out. If it might be your unconfidence lure for the next month, why it's super hot. And the last one, just buy the freaking Yamatanuki and skip that thing under a tree and catch your fish. Bro, I'm telling you, these things are stupid. I think I've gone through 30 in the past few weeks, just because it's like instant fish. I'm almost like, okay, I can skip a Yamatanuki under that tree and get one, or I can go try out my unconfidence lure over here. And so it's wild. So if you never tried the Yamatanuki, the stupid bowling pin, just try it. Put it on a 5/0, maybe get a spring lock for it. They don't last very long. Just go over to Luis's house. He's probably got 17 packs on the wall right now. I love it. Get a little extra life out of it. Put a wacky ring worm on the end, and you'll maybe get an extra fish or two, because they don't last very long and they're kind of expensive, but they just work, especially up here. They just get them. So there are 6 things from Wendell Fishing. If you want to catch bigger fish, more fish in the heat of the summer when everyone feels like coming up a little bit short, those are what works for me. All right. I wasn't paying attention to the comments at all. We have any questions come in, Seth?
I think you clicked this one. It wasn't me. So
no, that was that.
I think it was. They were just saying that you would be giving money away when you enter tournaments.
Oh, I think this is from back there. I meant to actually take that. My bad.
We're good on comments.
All right, we got one more question, and then we'll send this off to Luis. Here we go. What's one myth about summer bass fishing you think people need to unlearn? I reverse Uno'd you just now.
Man, that is tough, man. That is tough.
What do you
think? I think right now, as far as like the people around me, my area, when I go out now, I'm in a lot of these herring fisheries up here in North Georgia. I've got Hartwell, Lanier, Clarks Hill, a lot of big tournament lakes. But I think right now for me and the people in my area is that you can't catch quality fish and good fish super shallow. And, I think you can still do it. You can still go and have fun and cover. You'll have to cover a lot of water and not be so stubborn about spots that look, absolutely juicy. But I think, right now in my circles, everyone's so hyper fixated on the same brush piles offshore, and they're not covering, the shade line that can be super effective, or, that one area where there's a mountain stream coming in and the water's just a little bit cooler and it may be only 3 feet, deep, but there's just a lot of neat and unique areas like that I think people are missing and have forgotten about. And you can still catch those fish because those fish are still there. And no one is hitting them or targeting them as much as they used to be.
Yeah, I like it. Oh my gosh, I don't know why this came to my mind. I was editing a video where I was pulling one out on the punch rig, and in the video, I saw something fly up on the front of my Bonafide P127 that I didn't see when I caught it, and so I was like, "What is that?" And so I went out today and looked on the front of my Bonafide, and it was a wacky worm with a hook that I've never bought before in my entire life. It had 2 weed guards on it that I don't use. I was like, "Oh." I caught that when the fish shook its head. It threw the hook to the front with the wacky worm on it, still to the front. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was funny." I need to go and get that again. Seth,
I would say
learn bad habits
that you can't throw a jerkbait in the summer.
Oh yeah,
or really that you can't throw a jerkbait any time besides the fall or whatever. I mean, I throw a jerkbait every single event that I fish. You can catch them in the summer. I haven't done a lot of fishing with a jerkbait this summer, but if you go back into last year on my Instagram, June, July, you can just see a bunch of like 7, 8, 9 pounders caught on a jerkbait in the summer. So and water temp was like 90 degrees. It's cooking down here in Florida, and they were all on jerkbaits. So yeah.
Would you recommend a jerkbait to someone who did not have live scope?
No.
Really, man, I love it. I love a jerkbait. I love a jerkbait without live scope, though. I do.
It has to be in the proper. Let me back up. It has to be in the proper situation. So, like, if there's schooling or like, yeah, you can throw jerkbait, but in the summertime when I'm going out there, like identifying individual fish, and there's not a lot of fish that are out there, you're going to be throwing out a lot of open water with no activity, right? Yeah. So like if you're fishing in like the fall and you're fishing in the spring and you're hitting more shallow areas and there's a lot of fish, absolutely throw a jerkbait. But if you're out in the summertime in the abyss and there's not a lot of fish out there and you're just searching for giants, you're going to be casting your jerkbait a lot to open water, at least down here in Florida. So yeah, let me back up. Yes, I would definitely recommend a jerkbait if you don't have scope, but maybe just not in the summertime when you're out in the abyss.
Oh, look how that changed, everybody. That went from always throw
I didn't want people to think I wouldn't recommend a jerkbait. I threw a jerkbait before scope. I mean, it's good. It's a great bait.
I like it. Luis, I still am like admiring your bait wall behind you.
Oh, thanks.
Have you caught anything on that stealth yet?
Yes, I have caught 2 fish. I got it at the tail end of winter, and I caught a couple of fish on Lanier with it.
Okay.
With the that's the Cast Prodigy, the 3-inch on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. But I'll be honest. I've got the Hog Farmer ones up here, and those have always, been super good. So
all right, got some Buckeye lures on there as well.
Yeah, I got a couple Buckeyes. Got a little bit of everything. Got like 30 chatterbaits over here, and like even more buzz baits over there. But yeah, it's a mix of stuff. Yeah,
I like it.
Gary's happy right now.
Gary's happy. Yeah, Gary's happy. Yeah,
Gary Yamamoto.
Oh, so good. All right, so anything exciting coming up for you guys? We'll kind of land this plane a little bit. Collabs, gear drops, anything got going on? Tournaments coming up? Just anything new? People that you know? Let the people know. Luis, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got a 3 River series coming up on YouTube. We've got a videographer coming out with us. This guy's super talented. We've got some great partners on this one. So we've got some additional funding. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit 3 states, 3 different rivers, 3, different types of species for a total of 7 days of camping and fishing. So it's going to be me. Yeah, it's going to be me, awesome. Eric Goodson, Atypical Outdoors, and Latrell Gaither. His handle is Banks and Eddies. We do a lot of fishing together. I'm sure if you've been to my page, you'll see them. And yeah, we're going to be out there pretty much sharing our story, why we fish and just adventuring together. And I've learned that in this day and age, that's what a lot of people really want to see is they want to see, people fishing, having a good time and just enjoying the outdoors. So we've got that coming up, and I'm pretty excited for that one. That's going to start here at the end of August.
I like it. Seth?
That's awesome, dude. All right, is it going to be like movie style, or is it going to be like episodes, or how?
Yeah, it'll be 3 episodes, but what'll mark the difference is, for the first time we have a paid videographer with us.
It's going to
coming with us. Yeah, and he's very, very talented. I really admire his work, and he fishes, so he gets it. He understands, and that's always really hard and really rare to find. So we're pumped about that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, you can focus on fishing while he captures it all.
Yeah, editing for you. That's the key point.
He's going to edit his shots, but like the the stuff from the chesty and some of those things, I'll be doing those. But yeah, as far as like the cinematic stuff and the breakaways, the B-roll and the intros and all that stuff, he'll be filming that. So really excited to just get out there and have his point of view and his quality of work. So it's super, super cool.
Yeah. For those listening in, you can't see this, but Luis has a Bonafide fishing hat on. Do you run a Bonafide? Because I heard you earlier say you run a native.
Yeah. So I am. I'm signed with Big Adventures. So I'll run the native in the lake, the Titan, the 12.5, and then in the river I'll usually run the RVR. Mm-hmm. But I'm really interested in getting a PWR here in the next few months. So, but yeah, I love my kayaks, man. I love my Titan, and I love my river setup even more. So
nice. I think I got a river coming my way. That's something new I haven't shared. So that's a new drop. Got a river and another one coming my way shortly.
Nice.
And
what's the other one?
I don't know. Apparently, I just got to talk bad about companies, and then they'll want to send me a kayak
it.
Prove me wrong. Y'all suck. All y'all suck.
Nice.
Seth, what do you got going on?
So
you got a bass cat hat on. What in the world? It's a kayak fishing obsessed, and you got a bass cat hat on.
That's what I used to run. I used to run the old bass cat back in the day.
I binge watch all 4 of your YouTube videos from back in the day.
You like that? He spent all 5 break watching it. Your whole lunch break watching my entire YouTube channel.
My favorite was "I'm fishing with a drone. Look at this" titled. That was my favorite.
You like that? Yeah. I have to pull the ones out from like 15 years ago. Those were some good ones too. I got those hidden. I can't let you see them.
Got it on that private list.
Yeah, that's right. On the back end. So what do I got coming up? I have Bass Nation State Championship in Florida on Okeechobee. First week of September. That'll be an interesting one. Lake Okeechobee is super low right now, which is good for the vegetation growth. Ooh. So I have that. And then end of September, I have Toledo Bend Bassmaster Kayak Series out on Toledo in Texas, Louisiana. So that's my September. Then that rolls right into the start of fishing season for the state of Florida. So the trails kind of kick off November-ish. So yeah. State championship, and then Toledo Bend. Try to go get a dub out there in Toledo Bend.
I believe, because whenever Seth says he's going to go out and he wants to win a tournament, homie, he performs. I love it.
That's one reason I'm trying to get good with the minnow, because I don't know if it's going to be like this, but I feel like I might be in like 15, 20 feet of water in timber, and I'm going to be shaking a minnow through there. So trying to get better at it, but we'll see.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering why I keep looking down, my cat snuck into my room, and he's got wicked sharp claws, and he keeps on batting me and clawing me a little bit. I'm just waiting for him to claw up my back. Things going on with Wendell Fishing. Of course, got K-Fast. We've already talked about that, and so that's taking up a bunch of time. I'll be full court pressing that here soon. But August, I'm kind of dialed it back for August. I start ramping up toward October, going up to the Betsy River and Platte River for the Coho and King run, and we'll be kayak fishing for some of those. Which I think Hoover's going to come up. We're going to go up there. I had one of the listeners reach out to me "Hey, I have an Airbnb. Do you want it? Because I'm stuck at work in October." I was like, let me pray about that and get back to you. Yeah, wow, I'm ready. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's do that. And right after that, it's the national championship down at Gunnersville. and I love Guntersville in November. So I'm excited about going down there, spending some time with the peoples. But really, I need to really focus on the highest consumption of fishing content, which was July and August for me. So I'm just going to be a video producing machine. My hope is that when I go out tomorrow and go to Lake Erie, which I've never fished Lake Erie for smallmouth before. I've always fished for walleye, and I don't think I've ever been on Lake Erie in a kayak, which is really weird for me because I live 1 hour away. So I'm meeting Jake. For those of you, he's the guy who was running my camera and is in some of the videos for iCast. And so, yeah, this is going to be just a lot of execution over the next couple of weeks, and not execution like killing ducks, Seth. Execution like getting work done. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up again. Your kids cry themselves to sleep.
I got them wrapped in a towel right now. I can go grab them for you.
What are you going to do? You're going to have like a burial for them? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we got to go bury them tomorrow.
Oh, man.
That's Florida, man. That's Florida.
Yeah.
Well,
my kids, I have
to
properly dispose them because I can't tell them, like, oh, kids, I threw them in the trash can. Like, those are their babies. So we got to go.
You're going to have like a full court like ceremony?
No. I'm just going to go out to the woods.
He can come do this for you.
I'm going to go out to the woods. They'll say a little prayer for them, and then we'll bury them, and that'll be it.
There you go.
All right.
Hey.
It's not funny.
Such a somber ending to a great show.
Well, folks, if you have not yet done it, please hit that like. If you're listening to this after the fact, share. If you haven't done this, I imagine you've made it to the end of the show. You probably liked it. So I want you. You're the ones I want to go rate it. So head over to wherever it is that you listen in. I think Apple's a good one to do this on, and rate that bad boy. But really appreciate you, Luis, coming in here, sharing some knowledge. We'll have you on again. It was a good time talking about August fishing. Hopefully, if you're listening in, you picked up on something. You're like, hey, if you just picked up on one thing, it's worth the time. And so look forward to maybe every once in a while, get people right back. Like, hey, 3 months ago, you did the show on this. I tried it as my unconfidence lure, and boom, I just nailed my personal best. Actually, I just got one this morning. I did a series. I had a fish for beginners series. And he was like, hey, I haven't fished in 30 years, and my kids wanted to fish. And I did what you said, and I bought that compact spinnerbait, and they caught a fish within the first 3 casts, and now they're hooked. I'm like, that is awesome. That's so freaking awesome. Because everyone knows when you take your kids out, you want them to catch a fish really, really fast, or you're only going to be out there for like 10 minutes before they get really bored. And so that was a lot of fun. So, Elise, tell us where everyone can find you on the socials, on the YouTubes, on the Instagram, and where's your home base when it comes to
So I'm here in Georgia, on the tail end of the north side above Atlanta by Lake Lanier. And you guys can find me at any social platform as at NorthGAfisherman, NorthGAfisherman. And I'll pop up.
What if you move?
If I move, I refuse. I refuse. This is how I go out, man.
This is how I go out. North of Georgia. You can only move like not very far.
Within
Georgia. Hope your wife's job's not taking her all over the place.
Born and raised, man. Man.
I love it. Well, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for listening in. And I will see you next week on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. You guys have a good one. See you.
See you guys.